This is Matt for Into Boxing. I'm delighted to be joined by Nisse Sauerland. Nisse, it's an incredible event this weekend. Talk to me, how excited are you for the fights that are coming?
Well, from the scale of 0 to 10, I'd say I'm 11 or 12 at the moment, but it's definitely going to be going up. Yeah, I'm excited by the whole event. Cardiff is a great place. They know their boxing. Been talking to some of the locals. They're very excited, and I think that it's obviously, I don't know how to describe it. They're definitely supporting Williams, but I think they just want to have a good fight as well. Yeah. Or see a good fight, not have a good fight.
There seems to be a lot of tension in the air. We saw it yesterday when Chris walked past the ring at the open workout. Do you think the press conference today, more will get said?
I thought that was just right. I don't think it was anything. Of course, there's a rivalry there, but there was no, there was no swearing. There was no like, I'm going to do that to you and whatever else. It was, thumbs down, like a bit gladiatorial sort of animation. It was nothing too outlandish, but just right for the moment, I thought. And I think the press conference is going to be exciting. I don't know what to expect.
It's an interesting one. I talked to a few people yesterday about pressure. Now, obviously, for Liam, he's fighting, he's got home comforts, but with that comes pressure because you've got to perform for your fans. And Chris is going in there to try and upset everyone because obviously he'll be looking to put their man down and to beat him in front of them. For you, who do you think the pressure's on in this fight to get the win? Is the pressure more on Chris or Liam?
I think the pressure is on both for the win. I think the person feeling the pressure most will be Liam. I think I can go in your favour or against, but I know that Junior he thrives on this kind of going in as the antagonist, if you like. I remember he fought against Avni Yildirim in Stuttgart, and that was, we almost had to call the fight and stop the entrances. I think we actually did. I think he had to just, it was the Super Series style, and he wasn't on the. I don't think we did the podium in the end. The Gladiators podium before, because we're just too worried. He wanted to do it, and he would still put the England flag on him, Union Jack round him, and still went in. So I think Chris will thrive on the pressure.
Do you think, is this the winner for this fight? Do they go on to a world title shot or somewhere roundabouts, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, this is a great fight. This should have a title. I see a lot worse fights that have world titles. I think Trevor Bryant fought someone the other day for a world title against someone I've never heard of. So you don't always need a title. This fight doesn't need a title to sell. People are going to be watching, and it's also, it's transcended out of just the boxing folk. It's gone to the masses. When you pick up, I know when I pick up the kids from school, if some of the dads go, "Oh, are you watching the fight this weekend?" I know that it's transcended. That doesn't normally happen with a standard domestic fight.
Not only Chris on this card, but you've also got Eubank. He seems to be getting better every single fight. Really, really good, picking up skills. Every fight he seems to be improving. What do you make of Harlem? And is this his chance to shine on sort of the bigger stage? Obviously, I've seen him before on the MTK shows, and he was unbelievable performances. Could this be one of these breakout fights for him, where he announces himself to a wider audience?
I think so. I think he. Of course, he was on a very good stage. I think he was on the Golden Contract, which was a very good stage for him. So I'm not going to knock that. That was good. But I think for him, it was sort of having enough action. And I think this is good. So close to his fight in Latvia, to get back out. He'll be back out again in sort of end of March, April time again, and just keep him moving. Obviously, he has to beat the guy in front of him who's not. He might be a bit older now, Virial Simone, or Simone. My pronunciation is probably wrong. I'm sure I'll be criticised online for that later. But the guys. I think he fought for the European title. Definitely a mandatory at some point for a European title. He's experienced. So he has to get past him first. But it's a good step up fight, and we need to push the metal to the floor now with Harlem and keep going.
100%. Let's talk about a man we spoke about a few weeks ago, Philippergovich. Where are we on this list of fighters? I see it every day, such and such was rejected, such and such was rejected. Are we now in a position where this is just going to be like almost by default that he gets the mandatory spot if he can't secure a fight, or are we awaiting a response from some other fighters?
Well, we don't want a default mandatory situation. We want to fight. We are now at McKean. McKean? I bet I'm saying no, not McKean.
Is it Zang?
Yeah, McKean and Zang. And he, so they have, I think McKean has until the 5th to reply, and Zang has until the 7th to reply because he didn't understand the letter. So, I don't know how he didn't understand the letter. There's a lot of guys in the top 15 who don't speak English, but yeah, Google Translate maybe. Yeah, look, we hope one of those two are going to take it.
Are you hopeful that they will? Because obviously I think we talked about Zang before, and I can't remember if you said that would be quite possible to do. Would you think he'd be the more likely one out of the two?
From my gut, yeah. We've had conversations with him before. I know, Matchroom have him as well on a contract, I believe. So, we co-promote with Matchroom, so it should be a doable deal. We're obviously in contact with them. Yeah. I'm just waiting to hear on the news. That'd be a great fight.
He's obviously seems to be extremely avoided, doesn't he? We get a lot of obviously fighters in other divisions where you don't see anybody calling him out. Not many people call out Philippergovich. The only person that does is Alan Babbage. If you can't make the fight, would that be something you'd be interested in just sticking in, and doing that? 'Cause it'd be a huge fight back in Zagreb. I mean, we saw it after our interview, obviously, the traction it did and stuff like that. Is that a possibility? Because obviously, it'd be a huge fight back in Croatia.
Yeah, it'd be a huge fight, definitely. And I never want to disrespect fighters because what they do is it's a very tough job. But I do see it as an easy payday for Philip. I'll speak my mind on that. On Mr. Babbage's comments about having a tag team fight against me. Him and Dillian Whyte against me and Philip, I just wouldn't tag in. I just wouldn't. I just stand there and watch. I'm not fucking tag in, am I? Sorry about the swearing, but it's my job to promote. It's his job to fight. But yeah, look, I'm easy work for him, but he can have it if he wants. Just knock me out. Been knocked out before, I don't mind. Nah, in all seriousness, I think there's big fights out there for Babbage as well. I'd like to see Babbage against Gorman. That's a good fight,
Gorman, one of your boys.
Yeah, Nathan against it. Nathan's going to have a big announcement next week. But after we've, dealt with that, that'd be a good fight because people know him in the UK. Babbage. Yeah, they know Gorman as well. Gorman's, it's a good fight. I think it's a great fight for Nathan. I think, Nathan is. I think he's got a lot more to give. You watch, he's only 25. People forget that. It seems like he's been around forever. And if you hear the stories, I don't read into people having injuries or whatever going into the ring. Don't go into the ring. But when Nathan tells you the story of why he why he went into the ring and whatever else was around that Dubois fight, it pulls on your heartstrings and you understand. Why he was in the state he was. I had money on Nathan to win that fight, and I think that if he was in the correct frame of mind, he would have won that fight. Again, I'm sure I'm going to have people telling him I'm an idiot, but you've got to have an opinion, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do. Nathan's really talented heavyweight, and he, like you said, he seems to have been around for ages, but he started so young, but he's almost got this next half of his career now to really kick on. There's been a long sort of rumour talk about him and Fabio Wardley fighting for the British. Is that a fight that you're interested in making? That'd still be quite a huge domestic clash, whether it be on whatever platform. It'd be an unbelievable fight.
We would definitely be up for making that fight. I've spoken to Eddie about it before, and Frank. I think the issue you have with Fabio and Nathan is they're both gentlemen, and they're really respectful guys. So I watch it because I'm a boxing fan. It'll be a great boxing fight. But to appeal to the masses, there needs to be sometimes a bit of needle in it. I'm not talking like, like what we're going to see here, Liam and Chris, which I think has got enough needle, but sometimes you need that, and I don't think that fight does, but I would love to do it. I think for the boxing core would love it.
100%. I agree with you. I saw there was a fight the other day on the Warrington undercard, Maxi Hughes and I think Ryan Walsh, and I spoke to both before, lovely fellas, and you just thought nothing's going to kick off here, but it's a great fight. It's strange, really.
You get Ryan's brother to do that. Michael, he's top man. I really I got a lot of time for the Walshes. Spent a lot of time with them, and I like Maxi as well. So it's one of those ones. It's going to be a great fight.
100%.
But it's like with Fabio and Nathan. It's like if one of them was a complete lunatic and started, cursing and doing stuff, it could be pay-per-view in a couple of fights' time. But they're both really calm gentlemen, and I like that. And I don't think don't be
something you're not.
Don't be something you're not, exactly. And they're not, and I rate that with both of them. I think it'll make a great fight, and I think for the boxing fan it'd be brilliant.
100%. One thing I wanted to touch on with you, we've got Tyson Fury going to be fighting Dillian Whyte. It looks like Perspe's won by Frank Warren. What do you make of that fight? Huge fight for British boxing, be a mega fight. What do you make of that matchup?
I make of it, let me think. I haven't thought that much about it because I just couldn't believe it was happening. But now it seems like it is. So,
you pleased for Dillon? Obviously, been sort of mandatory. Then he had that bit with Povetkin, came back. Is it sort of feel like he sort of deserves his crack at a title after been sort of up there for so long?
I think he definitely deserves a crack at a title. 100%. I personally think, I don't know who wins that. I think Tyson wins that. I think that Dillian has to do something special. Tyson's always susceptible to a punch. He always, every fight he almost goes down, but he gets back up, and that's entertainment. I mean, that last Wilder fight was unbelievable. But the question is, does Dillian have the power to keep him down? I don't know. I think I personally am going towards Tyson. I mean, I see it. He's a clear favourite. I would say, look, if I were going to set odds, I'd have Dillian as 4-1 to win. To make it, people, it's good. That would be a good money bet, in my opinion. You'd probably put a bit of 50 quid on that, something. But I don't see it.
Do you think there's a heavyweight out there that can beat Tyson at the minute? Everyone seems to think he's obviously the number one heavyweight, and rightly so. Do you think there's a heavyweight out there right now who's equal or better?
Obviously I back my man Philip, but Philip, people again, I need Philip to have a step up fight now, and that's why we don't want to just become a manager. We want to fight someone. Is there anyone who can? The Usyk fight, I just see it being a really fiddly fight. One for the boxing fans, like one for us to sort of go, oh, this is, lots of feints, lots of, jigging about. I'd still listen. I'm not saying AJ is going to win. I'd give him a shot. I'd give him a bigger shot than Whyte to beat Fury. I would probably give Usyk the bigger shot, but I would say that at the moment, Fury is the clear number one.
Absolutely. Just before we go, Lastman Boxing obviously signed an incredible amount of young talent from, Matty Harris, Hosea Stewart, so on and so forth. When are they all going to be sort of back out? Are you going to be doing another one of the developmental shows? Have you got plans to put all them back on again?
We have plans for March for all of them to get back on. News coming soon. We also have very big plans. Also for the development series, we haven't forgotten about that. We like that. It's good to give you know, we local kids also, not local kids, but you know, guys coming through the amateurs. There's so many unfound sort of talents in the UK who maybe haven't gotten into the Team GB because of political reasons. You know, amateur boxing can be a bit messy sometimes, depending on what amateur club you're from. So we hope to do a few of them this year, but we're also doing some big ones.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Nisse Sauerland, thanks for talking to Into Boxing. And yeah, we'll catch up again. Appreciate your time.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.